Hello, my name is Marion May, and in this video, as a follow-on from the other one I've done about how to read the surface level of your chart, this is about how to decode the advanced mechanics, which is the information that comes out below the surface. Now, this is a how to read your chart, not an explanation of what it all means. For that, you will need to go and do your own research. You will need to go and possibly find people who can give you readings on it, and to really get the full information from it. But with the information becoming more available in the, say, the Facebook groups and online, people aren't always accessing things, if you like, in the order that Ra set out. So initially, Ra said that this deeper level information should be accessed at least 3.5 years into your experiment. Nowadays, you might have come across it at day one and be wondering what on earth this means. Basically, this information is better accessed if you've, say, had a reading or you've been experimenting with your own strategy and authority. So in other words, you've been trying out the surface level, the information about the centers, your not self, the open center distractions, and you've got a good grasp of what all that is showing you, what that mechanical side means, and begun to recognize it in your own life. This level of information is called the 4 transformations, and it may cover variables as well, which you may well have come across. People will ask online, well, what are your variables? The 4 transformations are these deep processes that you can go into that help to transform the surface. So these are below the surface. And they come in this order: the determination, which is about how you take in food in order to properly nourish your body. It also relates to how you process information in a way that's healthy for your particular design. And then the environment, the kind of environment in which you can be healthy. The view, on the personality side, is how you're designed to uniquely see your environment, and the motivation, how you then see and interact with others, how you can share your outer authority with other people. Okay, so if you start off with a simple chart, it'd be like the one on the right here, and then to get an advanced chart, I think you can get this information through mybodygraph.com. Or in some of the groups, people have offered to run charts for people so that they can see it. So there's an additional level of information. It's laid out slightly differently. The channels, the centers, all that information is exactly the same. The gates, the lines, this is going below the level of the line. So if you don't know yet what a line is, I suggest you stop this video and go back and review the earlier one I did, which is about how to understand the surface level of your chart. So in this, we're going into things called colour and tone. So the 4 transformations are arranged for the design side and for the personality side. So the primary health system is how to be healthy for your brain and for your body through your nutrition, through the way you take in and digest, and through the environment and the way you interact with your environment. Then on the personality side is the psychology for your mind and awareness over here, about how you're interacting with the people, and the whole personality side and how that is interacting with the world. And then we've got the variables for life given. Often you'll see these little cryptic things people will post, things like PRL, DRL, or PLL, DLL, or whatever it is, or people will say, oh, you're quad right. And these refer to these 4 arrows given here in the middle. And again, these come from the colour and the tone, which I'll go into step by step as we go through now. So the first of the transformations is the determination. And at this point, I think I'm actually going to turn off the video with me, because it's going to obscure some of the screen here. Hopefully that's hidden it for you now as well. So the primary health system, this is about your digestive system through your body, of what you eat, how you take in nutrition. And it's not so much a diet-based thing like, oh, only eat certain foods. This is about the way in which you are designed to digest. As I say, it's primarily food, but it goes a bit wider than that. So you'll see on the left, we've got here, it says the colour is the hexagon shape, and then the tone is in the triangle shape. So we then read these off these charts now. I believe Mark Germain made all of these charts here when he was going through his studies himself, and has very generously shared them widely throughout the groups, and I got his permission to be able to share them in this video too. Mark Germain is a projector who's been in the experiment for quite a number of years now. So we read off this chart. So you read first of all the colour. So we're reading down saying colour is 5, so that's sound. So sound is going to be an important factor for this person in how they digest. And then we read off the tone, and the tone is 5, which is feeling. And so that's in the solar plexus section over here. So it's the felt senses, and it puts this into the right hand column. So there's right fixed. This means that the arrow, the variable arrow over here, you can see, is pointing to the right. And this says right fixed low. It's better to eat in a quiet place with some low background noises or in silence. So for this person to digest things, they need a quiet place. So anytime they're in a noisy place, it's going to be much more difficult for their body digestive systems to work. So the digestion has to work harder, or the digestion can't work properly. And then of course this leads to all sorts of ongoing health problems in the body. And then that has a knock-on effect throughout the whole of the rest of the chart, because this is kind of like the support level underneath. Think about the roots underneath a tree. If it's not able to take in the nutrition, the tree cannot grow in a nice, strong, healthy way, and the rest of it doesn't work. So this is really foundational, transformational information here. This is part of the primary information, if you like, that's helpful for children. If you want to bring up your children according to their design, then knowing this is really key. And you will often find when people first come across this information that they might have a little anecdote to share about how, as a child, they would always like to, say, go off with their food into a corner on their own or something, for somebody with low sound, to be away from people where it's quiet. Or people who, say, have touch, they knew they wanted to, they were very used to handling their food, and when, it's probably a bit of a battle with their parents to have to learn how to use cutlery, because they much preferred actually touching their food. And you watch very young children and you'll see that they very readily will just go to what's right for them. Even babies will sort of fuss if they're given food in the wrong circumstances for their design. So the feeling sense is what becomes enhanced through the correct digestion. So somebody who has a felt sense in their body, which gets clarified through the correct way of taking in food through this low sound. And this variable is right, which means this is somebody who has a passive brain, passive digestive system, passive in the body, and requires less food than an active, maybe requires less stimulation than an active. Passive is, again, I'm not going to go into the details of all of these, but there's the active or passive are the two polarities of this, and they work very, very differently. Okay, so this is the digestive system. The other part of being healthy is to be in the correct environment. A lot of ill health can happen in a body when it's not in the right environment. Now again, there needs to be a little bit of, what shall I say here? Don't take these words exactly literally. There's a lot of decoding, and this is why it's essential to really research this or get a reading from somebody who can help you decode this in conjunction with the whole of the rest of your design. You can't pick this bit out and leave the whole surface level untouched. They all integrate together. Okay, so again, we're reading the colour and the tone. We're reading them off this chart. The colour is down the middle here. So for this person, this colour 6 is shores. And then because it's a tone 2, it's on the left. So the variable is left. Tone 2 is taste. You see down at the bottom, it says splenic binary. So this is something to do with a splenic sense of taste, an intuitive sense of taste. Comes out through being in natural shores. So you see this chart's divided into the lower half is hardscape. So we're looking at sort of maybe urban, city types of environments. And then the upper is landscape. So shores, it's kind of anywhere where there's a transition from one kind of landscape to another. So it doesn't mean that you pick up this information and say, right, now I'm going to move to the coast. Again, that's using it at the mind level. This is not mind. Your strategy and your authority will eventually take you to the correct environment. But this is, as I say, you might come across this information before your strategy and authority has actually done that for you. So this is just, again, for your awareness and information. Still, everything comes down to you follow your strategy and your authority. But you might already be in the correct environment for yourself, and you might be able to think, yes, actually, since I've been in this environment, my health has gradually improved. I've gradually felt better in my body. And that's to do with the fact that your environment is correct for you. Now, in the environment, the variables here are left, meaning you're observed, you're active and being observed by others in your environment. Or observer, if you think about an observer, they sit and they watch. So people watchers, sitting in the environment just watching other people, as opposed to being the people who are walking around, being active in your environment, being observed. This is the two levels of this variable here. We'll now move on to the psychology side, the personality side. So this is the view, and this comes again from the nodal environment. So it's how you see your environment, how you're designed to view it, what perspective you have on it. So we're reading here again colour tone. So colour is 5, this is probability, and it's a focused view because the tone is 3, which puts it on the left-hand side. You notice always 1, 2 and 3 are left, 4, 5 and 6 are right. And this comes from the ajna, and it's called action. So this is a focused perspective on the environment, as opposed to the right variable, which would be peripheral. So this has a very focused view on the probabilities of what's being seen. Now, when we get to the psychology, we have things called distraction and transference. So what happens here is you can get distracted when being around certain people. This person could, instead of being able to see things through the lens of probability, starts to interpret things through the lens of possibility instead. This is called distraction. And this just happens through certain interactions with people. Again, through strategy and authority, you're kind of in the right place, in the right time, in the right way. This is just to help to focus your awareness and kind of be able to see, oh yes, this person, when I'm with them, I transfer into possibility. Nothing to fix, it's nothing to do, it's just to help. The information helps you to become more aware of what's going on in your own mind, in your own view, so that you don't start thinking, oh yes, I'm supposed to be the person who's all about possibility, this is what I've got to do. You can look and go, oh, there's this view of possibility, this is not me, I don't need to do anything with this, I certainly don't need to make any decisions based on this. This is not for me to act with, it's just for me to be aware of. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one, and then this is the final one, the motivation. This is how you interact with people. So this comes out as your outer authority when you're digesting correctly, you're in the correct environment, when you're in a non-distracted, when you're in your correct perspective of your environment, then you have a motivation to interact with people, and you can interact through your outer authority in a correct way. So for this person's colour 4, which is need, and tone 6, which is acceptance, puts that onto the right variable. So it's receptive awareness. And there's a trajectory given here. So during the course of this person's life, they're actually going to move from being a master of something to a novice. So somebody who as a child may be quite proficient at something and who moves through their life into actually learning, becoming a novice in something new. So that pull towards novice. And again, it's only through living correctly that this can happen, this trajectory happens. It's not something that happens at a certain time. It's not something that has a schedule to it. Just again, for the awareness, be aware of how this is working through you. So this is a helpful little chart to show you that the transference from need being do what's necessary, don't get stuck in the argument in the details, transfers into fear, which is a colour 1. So we're looking at the colour harmonics here. 1 and 4, if you like, are harmonic to each other, as like 2 and 5 and 3 and 6. So fear is as a line 1, colour 1 has that quality of the security, needing to get down into the depths, down into the basement. And this person, when transferred into fear, they kind of, it's a little bit like being a beetle on their back, you know, trying to grapple with the fear, trying to get that in some sense of security, because that's not who they are. So it's just here to be aware. So when this person gets transferred into fear, you can use that awareness and just check back in with strategy and authority and make sure that they are living according to that. So when your view is distracted, then your motivation transfers and vice versa. So this person gets into a distracted view and then they go into fear, or they go into fear, then their view gets distracted. And we've reached the end there. So hopefully this will give you some information, and certainly these charts are really essential to help you begin to decode some of these things. Obviously you get the information on your chart, but then you can begin to research, look at the information that's there about the variables. There's a wonderful little resource that Rad recorded, which is just 15 minutes for each of the 16 variable combinations, to see how the right and the left juxtapose with each other. If you've got a right and a left at the mental level, if you like, then understanding how that works can make so much difference to how you take this journey of awareness really into deeper levels. So I do hope that you'll now have the information you need to be able to go out and research and to put this into its correct place. As the roots below the surface, you still have to be correct at the surface level. But none of this is going to matter a row of beans if you're not following your strategy and your authority, and you're living out your not self, and you're still running your life through your mind. Even trying to do this through your mind isn't really going to work well for you. Use this as an awareness tool, not as a decision-making tool. Hope you enjoyed this. Please do check out some of my other videos, and on my website I've got some articles on human design, various other things as well, and that's marianmay.co.uk. It's been a pleasure to share this with you. Have a good day. Thank you.